Hey, Charlie.
What's up?
Hey, not too much. Okay, give me 1 second, and let me get your face pulled in real quick. Window capture, add source.
I've actually never done a video chat on Discord before.
It's not too bad. It's not too shabby. I'm gonna send you the Twitch link too, and then you can see kind of how I have it set up. Oh, I need to. Okay, how's that, chat? What do you guys think of that? All right, Charlie, I'm gonna send you the Twitch link. Cool. Charlie, this was a great day to do this, by the way, with the
Yeah.
40K break and everything.
Wait, what happened? I haven't been following.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is like
I'm just kidding.
this is like spoilers for a really good movie. No, I'm sorry. Shouldn't have said it. No, my little guy back here. I just got him set up last night, so today was fun to watch him. So it's one of these the Bitcoin roller coaster guy with his hands up in the air, and it's like on the motor and it goes up and down.
Yeah.
Based on price. So that was fun. No, but thank you for being here. We very much appreciate it. This is, I am one of the only live streamers on Twitch where we discuss Bitcoin is king. Like that's kind of number one, but then number two is just what's going on in the rest of the world, of the world of crypto and the ecosystem and everything. So we're very honored to have you here, and I am trying my best not to get flustered speaking to you. So.
Sure. Happy to be here.
Appreciate that. So, chat, little background. The way that I know Charlie is through some physical collectible trades that I did with him. Gosh, I guess over a year now. But Charlie and Samson and a few other guys do the Magical Crypto Conference, and that's one of my favorite conferences, honestly. And they even had like a real bull. And that was back when Bitcoin was going from, we had the nasty crash to 3 to 4K, and it actually started taking back off again, hit 8 or 9,000, while we were there. So, and they actually had like a real bull talking about the bull run and stuff. So a lot of fun. They do a lot of cool stuff. But as you guys know, Charlie is the founder, the creator for Litecoin. And so that's how we're going to kind of start everything off is one of the first things, Charlie, I'd love to just cover with you is, what is the latest on Litecoin, like with Mimblewimble or anything else that maybe isn't super public yet, or whatever you got?
The latest, well, I'm sure you've heard the PayPal news, right? PayPal is supporting Litecoin as one of the first 4 coins that they're supporting.
Huge.
I think it's huge, yeah. So they have hundreds of millions of users that if you actually just go to the PayPal homepage, the first thing you see is, do you want to buy like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, or Bitcoin Cash? So, yeah, so that's huge. And I think next year they're going to start, well, their plan is to support crypto purchases with their merchants, and also for Venmo to start accepting or start supporting like crypto payments. I think those two things will be pretty big too.
That's awesome. So in chat, this is not like what's the other app where you just speculate on it? It's basically just a bunch of investors throwing their money in just to speculate on what the price of things are going to do.
You talking about like Robinhood?
Robinhood, that's what I was pulling it up on my phone just to think of what it was. Yeah, so this is different.
For now, PayPal is kind of similar to Robinhood, where you can buy and sell crypto, but you can't withdraw it. I think they plan to support withdrawal when they feel more comfortable with it. But for now, it's kind of just buy and sell, right? Buy, hold, and sell.
Sure.
Similarly, like Cash App did that when they launched support for Bitcoin, but now you can withdraw from Cash App.
Right, and a lot of people are drawing parallels to Cash App, saying, okay, so this is basically step one for regulators or whoever. We're going to kind of get everyone comfortable that we're the place to go, and then we're going to roll out phase 2 where you can actually move it around.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so another thing, I just wanted to take you down memory lane real quick. When I was coming up with some questions and stuff, I came across your original Litecoin post where you actually, back on Bitcoin Talk, and this is dated October 9th of 2011, where you announced the launch of Litecoin. I'm gonna put that in the chat too. But do you ever just go back and yeah? Do you ever just check that out? Do you ever just go like, wow, we've come a long way?
I do. Let's see. Let me see what I. Yeah. So every now and then I go back and actually read like the first like 10, 20 pages of that thread, and it's pretty funny because the first thing people say is like this is a scam or
Yeah.
like, even back then, you had the same response to like to a new coin launch as now. It's like, why do we need another coin? This is when there were only like 10 coins or like 10 alternative coins, or
Right.
maybe like a dozen to Bitcoin, and then people are already saying like, why do we need another one?
Yeah, and you presented your argument really well. I was impressed by the way you handled this. You're like, yeah, look, there are other coins, but here's the issues with them. We're going to kind of Frankenstein some of the best of each, and here's what we got. But basically, we're Bitcoin adjusted slightly, and I think that was a good sell.
The key for me, at least, was just to make it fair, to make the launch as fair as possible, where everyone has a chance to get in, right? So it wasn't like a surprise launch. People voted on the timing of the launch, and then the source code and binary were released uh, a few days up to a week before the launch, so people can actually look at the source that they wanted to, compile it themselves they want to, and run it on testnet. Right? They can start mining on their computer before the launch, and at the moment the coin was launched, it was just a small configuration change before they can start mining on mainnet right away.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty cool. Like initially, thousands of people started mining Litecoin on day one, or the minute it was launched.
Yeah, reading through some of the early replies, which I honestly hadn't done until like today and yesterday, but reading through some of those, it was clear people said, "Oh, I don't have to give up mining Bitcoin. I can actually mine alongside it. It's CPU. Okay, I'm on board with this. Yeah. So that was cool to see."
Yeah. It's one of the most important thing, at least initially for Litecoin, was to just make sure that anyone can participate, because the initial community is made up of miners, right? So miners are the people who mine Litecoin and push for adoption, right? They're the ones out there supporting Litecoin and getting more people interested in Litecoin. So it's important that anyone can participate. So that's why CPU mining was so important, at least initially for Litecoin.
Right. Because just like you're saying, a lot of the 51% attack, that's what a lot of people chose to focus on when they said, hey, here's my concern. So if you can incentivize them to not have to pick either Bitcoin or Litecoin, but to actually allow them to go together, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead.
Coincidentally, so at the time when I launched Litecoin, Bitcoin was mined predominantly on GPUs. And then when Bitcoin ASICs came out and all the Bitcoin miners moved to ASICs, that was basically around the same time when GPU mining for Litecoin was made possible. So all the GPU like mining farms switched from Bitcoin to Litecoin around the same time when Bitcoin became ASIC mineable. It was kind of a lucky coincidence because that kind of helped Litecoin become more secure, and it also gave Bitcoin miners that had GPUs something else to mine. Yeah.
Right. So and I think you and I've talked about this before too, but don't people mine Doge and Litecoin like collectively together?
Yeah. So Dogecoin is also a script mineable coin, and they had an issue where it was becoming less and less secure, and it became easier to 51% attach Dogecoin. So I actually recommended that they switch their algorithm to keep it script but make it merge mineable. So that way someone mining Litecoin can also mine Doge at the same time. So the miners can find a Dogecoin block while they're looking for Litecoin blocks. So this made it a little bit more profitable for Litecoin miners, or should I say script miners, which is the miner algorithm, and then also made Dogecoin super secure, because I think now it's about 90+ % of Litecoin miners are mining Doge at the same time, and the network hash rate for Doge is just really high.
That's hilarious. No, my community, here they love the Dogecoin. So I have the little, the little collectible little silver pieces and stuff, and people just start like foaming at them out. They're going crazy.
Yeah, Dogecoin has done surprisingly well the past week in terms of price.
It has. We actually talk about it. So I do some very, very high tier TA, and I, no crystal balls or anything, but we do discuss the history of Doge's pump and dumps and this and that. So we've been kind of keeping our eye on what Doge is going to do, though it looks like it's kind of bleeding back out. But it is always fun to, yeah.
Well, it happens when Bitcoin pumps, then everything else kind of bleeds a little bit.
Oh yeah, bow to the king, absolutely.
Yeah, Dogecoin and Litecoin we have a special relationship because we're being merge mined together, and it's kind of a good complement.
I love it. That's great. And there's very few charts that will look like this, even though Doge is very pumpy dumpy. The fact that it's not like, you can pull up pretty much any other Bitcoin pair and it's just straight to the grave, like with no stops along the way. And yet Doge kind of fights for its highs year after year, and it's just very fun to watch.
Well, kind of Litecoin's like that too, right? So,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it goes up and down against Bitcoin. Bitcoin's definitely still the king. It's hard to compare to Bitcoin, but yeah, definitely there's like 90+% of altcoins just basically go to zero.
Yeah,
effectively.
Especially given a long enough scale, over long enough time. That's absolutely the way it goes.
So it's great to see Litecoin kind of survive for this long. It's almost 10 years old. This October, Litecoin will be 10 years old.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
I did see somewhere you said, okay, here is the date we went live was, and you had, here we go, the official launch date and time and everything. Yeah, that's cool. Do you have a little Litecoin birthday party?
We do every year, a small birthday party, but this year will be 10 years, so maybe we'll do something special for this year.
That's awesome.
Assuming we're still alive by then.
Yeah. Well, we're 7 days in. It's not looking too great. It's not looking too good for 21.
Yeah.
So speaking of like the early days and Litecoin and everything, I've just randomly came across a way to go to CoinMarketCap and go back in time and see snapshots from certain times.
Yeah.
And I actually found the earliest thing I could find was April 2013, when there's only 7 coins listed. And on it, this just tickled me to death because Litecoin specifically has a market cap of 74 million and a price of $4.
Yeah.
All right. Versus, and then you can compare that to today, where Litecoin has 11.3 billion market cap and, about 168 per coin. Chat, I'll put that there also.
It's pretty crazy because when I created Litecoin, Bitcoin's market cap was, I think, about $100 billion. $100 million. So, when Litecoin surpassed $1 billion in market cap, I was just kind of flabbergasted that would happen, right? That I would create something that turned out to be bigger than Bitcoin was when I created it, which is, you just can't imagine.
Now that's wild to think about. I had not put that together. That you've seen it grow to bigger than Bitcoin was back when you started Litecoin.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Bitcoin, yeah. Back then, Bitcoin was 100 million market cap. It was tiny compared to now.
Yeah. And now here we are. So is this where you reveal that you're Satoshi secretly in hiding, or we don't go there yet?
I'm Satoshi Light.
Satoshi Light. Yes. Yes.
A light version of Satoshi.
Chat almost got him. Chat. It was close.
Almost. The thing I like to say is people like to talk to me because they can't find Satoshi. Like if Satoshi was around, you wouldn't have me on this chat. You would just try to get Satoshi on this chat.
Not necessarily, but you know who I would talk to? The real Satoshi. I think we all know the real Satoshi. Hold on.
Right.
Well, of course. Actually, this dude. Come on, Dorian.
Oh, Dorian Nakamoto. Yeah.
Come on, Charlie, please. Charlie.
He might be the real Satoshi. You just don't know.
Watch it really be him, and he's still laughing about it at home.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
He lives like a mile away from like Halfpenny, I think. Like really close to
Oh,
Halfpenny. And that's why people are like saying, wait a minute, what's going on here?
wait, hold on. They collaborated. What about what's there was a new one that I just heard that I hadn't actually considered. It was the guy who created TrueCrypt, and then he got arrested and he's kind of been in jail since.
Is it like the Russian guy? I know
Yeah.
who you're talking about.
Yeah, that was
that
a good
rumor
one.
has been around for a while.
Oh, has it? Okay. I just hadn't
Yeah.
heard that one. That's a good one. Who do you think it is? Who do you know it is?
I have no idea. I mean, I did
Hal. I like Hal.
think that how could be it, but it seems kind of weird for him to do it. It's like, why would he even show up, right? If he did it, why would he talk to himself and do all this like theater?
Right.
Yeah. There's a slight possibility Adam Beck could be it. I wouldn't bet against that.
I like that.
Yeah, Nick Szabo could be. In the end, it doesn't matter, but it's just
It doesn't.
It's cool to speculate.
That's what everybody asks you every time. I'm sure you're like really annoyed by it. By the way, chat wanted me to, speaking of annoying you, chat wanted me to refer to you as Bobby constantly, just as a way to like bother you, I guess. But I was like, just so we're all clear, guys, this is Charlie and this is Bobby. That's why I had this.
Well, the thing is, I don't look anything like Bobby, like
No,
no,
you don't.
Bobby, so we don't get confused that often. Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah. Anyway, this is chat being stupid. Okay, so chat. So we've discussed Litecoin. We've kind of talked about the early days, that kind of stuff. But a lot of you guys, I'm speaking to chat here, Charlie. A lot of you guys are new to crypto in general. It's very exciting. There's lots of ways to make money, blah, blah, blah. But I want to kind of drive home and have you hear from Charlie himself just how tremendous these valuation changes are, and how you can kind of wake up one day and realize like, whoa, this was, here was an event that happened. I bought something for X number of Bitcoin, and now thinking about that today is laughable. Like the Bitcoin pizza, which is like tens of thousands of Bitcoin spent, for a $50 pizza or something. And then here we are today laughing about it, forever. Like our grandkids will probably laugh about that. But I know, Charlie, you have a couple pretty funny instances that we had discussed. But does anything like instantly come to mind? I have a few written down too, if you could go blank.
Yeah, I think you have one of those acrylic Litecoins, right?
I do.
For Litecoin, this is, let me show you guys.
I can run down and get it. It's down in another room right now, but I do have a couple.
I don't have it here with me. But the guy who created the Cassatius coins, Mike Caldwell, created these acrylic Litecoins. So like a plastic kind of looking Litecoin. Yeah, you can try to look it up.
I think I can find
and
it now.
With his 3D printer or whatever it was that he kind of made these, and then he said like if I wanted it, he would give it to me. So it was like maybe like 40 of them or something like that, a few dozens of them, and then he just sent it to me for free. And then I posted it because the original Litecoin logo looked like that, so this was kind of like a physical representation of the original logo. And then I just basically posted a thread saying if anyone wanted it, I would ship one to them and only ask for cost of postage. And
how much was the postage?
Yeah, that's where I'm getting at. A dozen people replied and said they wanted it, so I shipped it to them. And postage for, I think it was 24 cents, and back then it was 70 Litecoins. So they paid me each 70 Litecoins for this thing.
That's hilarious.
So how much is that now? 70 Litecoins is almost $10,000.
Yeah, almost 12.
Yeah,
because you're at $170 last I checked.
Yeah, exactly, like 11,900.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, it just gets more and more ridiculous over time.
It's absurd.
But it's kind of like the Bitcoin pizza thing, right? But back then, 70 Litecoins is like I actually don't even remember like why I even asked for it. I mean, it's like a post send, but just to make it like fair, right? Like so that there won't be like 1,000 people asking for a free acrylic coin. At least pay something for it.
That's hilarious. And then you also had the story too with the Cassasius, the 1,000 blanks, where didn't you buy like a bunch of those from Mike?
Yeah, yeah. So he created the 1,000 coin gold coin with 1,000 Bitcoin on it, and pretty much like no one bought it because because it was so expensive back then. It was, I think, $5,000 for a coin, and it was 1,000 Bitcoin plus 1 ounce of gold. So it wasn't, people weren't interested in it, and no one really bought it. I think he sold like 4 or 5. Um, but then he had like a lot of these blank gold coins left, and he didn't know what to do with them. So I said I'll buy it off of him, right? So I paid for it with Bitcoin, and it was just basically it was gold plus $200. I think if I remember correctly. So I paid him that amount in Bitcoin, and I think each coin cost me like 100 Bitcoins or something ridiculous like that.
And how many were there? Like 20 of them?
There were 20 of them, maybe not 100, but it was a lot. And eventually, I sold them for Bitcoin over time. But
yeah,
it was a bad deal for me. Good for him.
Well, my chat knows this story, but this is the only thing I can somewhat compare to that with. I would trade like virtual pixel skins for Counter-Strike and stuff like that back in the day, and I got my hands on something super rare, and I sold it for about $65,000, which is hilarious because we're talking like CS:GO skins, right? Like who in the world would even pay that? But somebody did. And the guy
for one skin,
yeah, and it was the super one of a kind, whatever. And but what was cool was some guy unboxed it. He like found it, and so I was one of the few that person trusted to do a deal. And so I ended up being the winner, and then I sold it to somebody else who ended up being like some sheik overseas, and he just buys things like because money's no object. And so he ended up whatever, he bought it, no big deal. But here's the deal. He wanted to use Bitcoin. And at the time, Bitcoin was about $600. So it was like 60 plus Bitcoin. And that was my first experience with Bitcoin. I was forced to learn to come into this world as a matter of how do we get this deal done? He has the Bitcoin. He wants to do Bitcoin. All right, whatever. I don't know the first thing about it, but as a way to trade, then sure, let's do it. And I sold it probably a week later and didn't really think about it until I saw it over $1,000 and seeing the headlines. And then I was like, you know what? I'll probably buy some back. And I sold all of it. It's not like I kept like one or two just in case. I mean, I cashed out. And then about the 2,500 to 3,000 range, I was like, okay, I better get serious. It was bad. So that was about $1 million unrealized gains left on the table. But so I'm trying to somewhat relate. I mean, it doesn't compare to the Cassasius coins, but it was bad though. That was bad. But I think we all have, if we've been around long enough. And in fact, everyone in chat, this is what I'm trying to get across. Charlie has his story. I have my story. One day you'll have your story where you'll be like, oh yeah, I traded 1 Bitcoin for a whatever. And at the time it seems reasonable, sure. But then 5 years from now, it's the Bitcoin pizza and we all kind of laugh about it. So these are I'm trying to like get this in y'all's head to be thinking like that. Because when I did my physical trade with Charlie, he was sitting there coaching me like, hey, so if we do this deal, you could put it in Bitcoin and it is worth more in the future. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, so, I'm trying to be that kind of mentor like Charlie was for me on this kind of stuff where like, if you're going to buy that thing, if you're going to cash out and buy that Lambo or whatever, you need to make sure that's what you're thinking through it. Because if you're not thinking through it, then you're going to regret it in the future. Anyway, that was all my bit on that. Charlie, here is something else. So I've kind of gone through my collectible segment, I guess. Is there anything else you wanted to hit before we moved past it? Oh, Charlie, I think you're muted, by the way. I can't hear you, buddy. Did I mute Charlie? Can you guys hear him? No, chat's saying they can't hear you. This may conclude our Charlie segment. I muted you? Charlie says I muted him. Hold on. Unmute. Charlie, I'm going to disconnect and then join. Chat's like, I miss you, Charlie. I'm not hearing him. Now? Yes, hear you now.
Okay. It's probably Discord that.
Okay. No, we're good. I'm sorry. So that's why I was like, did you want to move on? Because it was like dead silence on my side. I didn't know if you
it was just you talking, because I was trying to say something and you just ignored what I said. So,
okay. So circle back. What is it you were trying to say?
I forget. Well, I was saying like, yeah, we have all these stories of the price going up, right? But then
right.
There's also like the price could go down a lot, right? So it could drop like 80-90% over a year. That's happened like multiple times. So you just have to make sure you're not you can weather that storm, right? So you don't put all of your money into crypto and expect to become a millionaire. If you can't weather that storm, you're going to be the person that's buying high and selling low, and like losing a lot of money. So just be careful. It's not a for sure thing. It's also not easy to kind of hold all the way, right? So a lot of people like get in early. There's stories of people buying like Bitcoin at like penny, and then once it hit $1, they sold everything because it went up like 10, 15, 20x already.
Right.
And now they're like bitter about it because they could have been like maybe even like $1 billion.
Oh, it cut out. It cut out again. Sorry, chat. Technical difficulty. I think Discord hates Charlie.
Okay, now?
Yeah, hear you now. Sorry, dude. Chat says the FBI keeps cutting you off. They don't want you to.
Probably getting censored.
Right. But no, so your point is well made though, that the price will go down. And if you were like, well, I'm going to go all in now because when it's 10x, then I can live off of it. You got to be ready for that. But at the same time, it's not easy to hold for the 100,000% gain that some people have done. And I think that's where you were going with it. Is there's a lot of OGs that have been around and they were there in the early days and they did buy, but they probably sold after that 100x or 1000x or whatever. And maybe we don't even know about it, So
yeah. But I mean, selling a bit is fine, right? So you should always, I do recommend people to kind of cash out a bit, right? Don't like hold it on forever, because if it's a good price and it's good to cash out a little bit on the way up.
We in this chat, Charlie, we talk about this a lot. Not like we're going to be, not like we're going to be the smartest ones in the room, because we're never going to get it right, 100%. But just to understand, hey, maybe in that moment when I see price go $2,000 in 5 seconds, like maybe I shouldn't be just slamming the all-in buy at that moment, and really instead kind of like condition myself to, okay, when everyone's really scared and we have a big dirty pullback, that's when I'm going to go all in. But what has been different, and we've covered this on the stream as well, is how this current run up is objectively, by all metrics, so different from the 2017 run up, where you kind of have these occasional 30 to 40% pullbacks, no big deal. It kind of took its slow time working its way up. And then here, since the COVID dump, it's just been no breaks. Like you were lucky to, we got about 15% pullbacks. Like, and that was it.
I think we'll see more. There's gonna be up and down. We're not just gonna keep going straight up.
No.
But the past few weeks been pretty good. Like we've had only 1 or 2 pullbacks. But like I was saying before, like the thing about these markets is when it's going up like crazy, it's when people are getting so excited about it, and so that's when they kind of go all in. right? And that's a bit dangerous, right? So dollar cost average is always my recommended way of getting into
Yeah.
Bitcoin. Because last time when we went up crazy like this, I remember there was one tweet I made saying that people should be careful because the market can crash 80-90% like it has done previously. And I even made a prediction saying that given today's Litecoin price, it could like 80%, 90% off is $20. This is when Litecoin was like over 200. I said it could drop back to 20. And everyone, like every single person replying to that tweet saying that I'm crazy, that will never happen. And if it ever does happen, they will mortgage their house, sell everything, and put it onto Litecoin because they think that that's going to be a good price to get in. But when it actually did happen a couple of years ago, or even like early last year, when Litecoin dropped to $23, nobody bought it because everybody was afraid it's going to go to zero.
Yeah.
So that's just market psychology, right? People are afraid to buy when it's low, and everyone's buying when it's high.
And unfortunately, not to like pick at the scab here, but I know you, just because it's all public and people see it, but a lot of people give you grief about that, which is very, it's annoying for me, because I've talked to you and I know like kind of where your head's at and what the intention was, but people in the moment, I think they want someone to blame, and it's like, oh, well, that guy, it's his fault and he's public and he's got some, affiliation with this thing that has hurt me financially, so I'm going to blame him. But that's been a bummer to see.
It's okay. I think when the price goes back up, people will forget about it.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. Like, have you noticed people have kind of relaxed on all that stuff? Because they were pretty vocal even up to like last year about it all.
No, they're still very vocal. So you're talking about the fact that I sold in 2017. I decided that there was a bit of conflict of interest or misalignment of interest where for me holding Litecoin, for Litecoin being a decentralized currency, and also for me having like potential influence on the price, I don't want to hold any. So there's no question about what I'm tweeting if I'm tweeting because I'm just trying to pump my coin for my personal benefit. So it turns out I sold at near the high, and then so now everyone thinks that we're talking about the fact that I sold all my coins at the all-time high, or that I have insider information, because there's nothing, right? This is a decentralized currency. There's no inside information. I had no idea the price was going to drop after. But even after I sold, the price went up, stayed up like for another week or so before it started dropping. Mm-hmm. So people could have sold if they wanted to, because I made it very public the day after I got out. And I didn't buy back in. I decided to kind of stay out and continue working on Litecoin, which I have been for the past 3-4 years. But yeah, I think if people are upset because the price dropped afterwards and they blame me on it, thinking that I crashed.
They think that, oh, Charlie, so you said they think that I crashed and then it cut you off again. You got muted again. Sorry, buddy.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah. We got you.
Okay.
Chat keeps blaming the feds. Sorry.
Keep trying to censor me. What was I saying?
Just that you gave people, you warned, you sold, and you
yeah.
But then you stayed out, and you've been working on the development side of it as well.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to say that I crashed the whole market, because I couldn't have. The coins that I owned were just a very small percentage of the overall coins, because I bought and mined coins just like anyone else, because Litecoin was launched fairly. So yeah, there's no way I crashed the market. But I think just being in the space for so long, like at that point, 17, it was six years, right? So I kind of got a feel of the market cycle, and it happened to sell out near the top, but we're coming back, so everything should be fine.
Yeah. No, and you've told me stories too, which, I mean, we don't have to get into it if you don't want to, but just about how, you mined for your Litecoin. You had a stack of Litecoin, and I think you told me at a time the price hit like $7 or something, and that was very exciting. And you sold a portion of your bags because hey, who knows if we'll go anywhere high, higher than this. And then lo and behold, it hit like $400 on some exchanges and, and above.
Yeah, definitely had some missed opportunities, but it kind of is. I mean, I did okay with Litecoin. Bitcoin is still my main thing, right? So
right.
I think having gone into Bitcoin from 2011 is very fortunate.
Yeah, agreed. Because the price that it's at now, even the price at the bear market low, the one that we just came out of, call it $3,000-$4,000, even at that price, there is a huge percentage of people that will never own one, much less, feel like they have enough and own hundreds or thousands or whatever. So, and now we're, $40,000 for God's sake. Now we're talking about numbers that people won't even own a fraction of that, or like a half of it or more. So
well, the figure is that like not every millionaire can own one Bitcoin, right? There are more than 21 million millionaires.
Right.
So if every millionaire wanted to own some Bitcoin, there's not enough for everyone to have one. So that's a crazy figure. So if you think about that, like owning one Bitcoin is definitely a good goal to have.
That's insane. Okay, so here's a question for you. And we can kind of lead out if you'd like. I know you've been here for what, 30, 45 minutes. So we appreciate your time. We know your time's precious. What do you think? Total wild ass guess, crystal ball, bull market top, and then the subsequent bear market low. What do you think?
So from my experience, I've seen bull markets, the top being 5 to 10 times the previous high. Actually, the 2017 bull market was almost like 20 times the previous high. But I would say like 10 times the previous high is 5 to 10 times the previous high is a good target.
Okay.
So I'm talking about like 100,000, maybe 200,000 Bitcoin. Long term, I think Bitcoin will reach gold parity in terms of market cap.
Ooh.
So like $10 trillion. That makes it like I think $500,000 for Bitcoin. But I'm talking about like long term, right? Like 5-10 years or maybe even longer. But with like all this money printing, I think it's just bound to happen. Right? Bitcoin price will just keep going up.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting in.
Yeah.
So this bull run, I would say 100,000.
Okay.
That's a realistic
I like that.
goal. And then it will kind of crash. It does, right? Because it's so volatile, no one really knows. The reason why Bitcoin is so volatile is because the future is so unknown, right? Bitcoin could eventually be the world reserve currency, right? Which is crazy.
Absolutely.
And if that happens, the price will be millions, right? Or Bitcoin could go to zero, right? If there's like
let's be real,
quantum computing hack or something that causes or whatever, right? It's still like an experiment. It can still go to zero, right? So if it goes to zero, so because of this uncertainty, one day people think it's going to go to a million, one day people think it's going to go to zero. So it's so volatile trying to find out the right price. So right now we're on a bull market, which is awesome. It could hit 100,000. But then there might be China bans Bitcoin or the US comes out with some regulation that hurts Bitcoin, and then it can crash back down to 30,000, maybe, right? That'd be like a 70% crash from 100,000 to 30,000.
Okay.
But it's just that could be it. That could be the future. But then it's always going to be higher highs and higher lows, which is amazing.
All right, so I'm gonna start like a little thing where we have guests on. We'll ask them kind of what the high, the market high and the subsequent bear low.
Someone asked me in 2016 what I think that bull run high would be, and I said 5,000 because it was 5 times the previous high.
That's funny.
And it overshot that by 4 times.
That was by definition like a face melter. That was insane. By the way, speaking of that cycle, I'd love to get your thoughts on this because I know you look at this kind of stuff more than I do. But do you ever look at Bitcoin dominance? Is that a chart you even pull up? Are you familiar with that?
I don't really look at it often. I hear about people talking about it. The thing with Bitcoin dominance is you're including all these coins that have zero liquidity, right? So that would hurt the dominance, but it doesn't really, right? it would make it seem like the Bitcoin is not dominant, but in reality, Bitcoin is dominant.
Okay.
So I think.
So you think I'm leading you somewhere, but I'm actually not, because I know that that's the general consensus. But I want to show you what recently has been happening is that because I know you were saying like you don't look at it a whole lot, but in 2017. The dominance dropped to like 30%. I mean, it was a disgusting fall off, right? It just fell right off the cliff. But what has been happening over the last 2 to 3 years is, by all metrics, it's just breaking new high after new high. So the actual dominance itself it's climbing. And I'm based on what I'm seeing with a lot of micro strategies, and like you're saying, even a way of potentially being some kind of reserve currency, etc. I'm wondering if this is going to climb back to the 90%. And people are like, you think about what is the biggest way to mess with a market, to screw a market participant. I think this might be it.
Well, that would be tough for it to go back to 90%. I think Ethereum will continue to be strong. The reason why it dropped to so low in 2017, 16, 17, is because of all these ICO tokens, right? People creating tokens out of thin air. And then there's some market for it, very low liquidity, but because of that, like all these tokens are worth like billions of dollars. Right?
Oh yeah,
so that like definitely hurt the market, the dominance of Bitcoin. But in reality, it's not, right? Because the liquidity is so thin that if you try to sell anything, you won't be able to sell $1 billion worth of that token. It'll be like 1 million or something, right? So if there's like a liquidity adjusted dominance, I think that would be a more accurate figure.
I like that. That's a good idea. Should get Willy Woo or somebody to put that together.
There might already be something like that, but that would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, like we have a coin. I just pulled up CoinMarketCap, right, just to prove your point. You have something with a volume. I think this is daily. Yeah, 24-hour volume of $200,000, and it's a top 100 coin. It's hedge trade.
I mean, if you look at some top 20 coins or top 30 coins, like scroll up, there's going to be some coins that are in the top 20, top 30 that have like tiny. Number 19 has 148 million volume.
Right.
That's like nothing.
In comparison to 84 billion in 24 hours for Bitcoin itself.
Yeah. So if I have like whatever $1 million worth of that coin, if I sell into that market, I won't be able to get $1 million worth.
No,
so,
you'll just wick it to death.
Yeah, even though the market cap is 2 billion, which is huge, it's not really. Yeah, it shouldn't affect the Bitcoin dominance as much as $2 billion does.
Right. No, and you make a great point. The only reason I bring this up is because I haven't really talked to Chad about this a whole lot, but this to me is interesting. This chart is interesting to me because you talk to most people and they're like, oh, well, if you miss on the Bitcoin play, there's always the alt play. Don't worry, there's always an alt, there's always an Ethereum, there's always a Litecoin, there's always something to go. And I just wonder, maybe it's not this cycle, right? Maybe it's the next one, but I wonder if at some point that Bitcoin is the thing pulling the 30x to 100x, and the alts just kind of sit there and they don't. Now, and I agree though that like Ethereum, there's a lot of metrics that show that Ethereum is prepping for a very sleazy bull run. And I'm not an Ethereum fanboy. I'm not a big Ethereum apologist. I think they'll crash and burn one day. But that's not today. The market's telling you it's not today.
Yeah, the thing is, some altcoins will always outperform Bitcoin in the bull run. It's just the nature of it, right? Litecoin outperformed Bitcoin in the 2017 bull run, and it probably will outperform Bitcoin in this bull run also, because during the bear market, all these altcoins did a lot worse than Bitcoin, right? Litecoin did a lot worse. Ethereum did a lot worse. And it's just the nature of the thing because it's lower liquidity. So if there's any interest, it will pop, right? So, but the thing is, like, you have to pick the right altcoin, right? You can always say like there's alt season, some altcoins will outperform Bitcoin, but 90% of altcoins don't, right? 90% of altcoins will trend towards zero. So yeah, if you pick the right altcoin, you can outperform Bitcoin. But to be safe, like, stick with Bitcoin. That's kind of like the smart thing to do. And you can dabble with some other altcoins like Ethereum, Litecoin. But like, yeah, it's dangerous, right? So for example, like a couple of weeks ago, if you had XRP, all of a sudden your XRP dropped like by like 80% or something ridiculous
Yeah.
like that. It happens, right? You're playing with fire sometimes.
And a lot of people, so kind of the approach that this stream, this channel has is, let's look at some potential trades for altcoins as a way to make more Bitcoin. Kind of like full stop. Like anything we do is to make more Bitcoin, right? So that's kind of the approach on this. But even on XRP, there was this big pump right before everything tanked. And this is on the Bitcoin pair. But this was, I think they had their airdrop or whatever it was.
The Flare network was doing an airdrop on XRP, and it helped like pump it quite a bit. Yeah.
So I had people coming in who I'd never seen before, right? Like I kind of have my regulars, I know folks and stuff. And then there was a lot of new people who were like, hey, I want to chase this XRP pump. And so we had to try to talk people off the ledge. And lo and behold, I mean, like you said, if you moved a lot of money into XRP thinking you were about to get a free 2x or something, you just ate it. Like you just lost a lot of money.
Yeah. From what I know, XP also put a lot of, or I should say Ripple, put a lot of money into marketing. Right? People hear about XRP all the time, like being the bank coin, being coin that is partnering with banks, and it'll be like the currency that banks use to move money across borders.
The new Swift.
So, the new Swift. And that definitely sells, right? People definitely get suckered into buying XRP because of that.
Yeah. And, hell, Grayscale had an entire segment dedicated to that.
They have an XRP trust fund also.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's basically what I meant. That they had like 5 different coins, maybe a little more, and that was on the list. So they had Wall Street money buying straight into that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with the SEC lawsuit. I personally think they're in kind of big trouble because, see, if I've always felt like it was a security.
Yeah. I was at a conference once, and Clayton was the SEC chairman at the time, was sitting up on stage answering questions. It was a crypto conference, and somebody said, "Do you think XRP is a security?" And right in front of me is the Ripple team. They're in their nicest suits. They're the best dressed ones in the whole room, right? And they're all sitting in front of me. And Clayton just gets real deadpan, and he's like, "I cannot comment on that thing specifically." And you could hear like all their chairs just kind of like from them going like sitting up, like, oh shit. And you could see them kind of looking at each other. But it was like in that moment, I was like, yeah, see you guys. That's GG. Yeah, that was funny.
They made a lot of money from XRP, like a lot of money, like $1 billion worth of money. It's kind of ridiculous.
Wolf of Wall Street money.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, well, Charlie, that's all I got. I appreciate your time, and love to have you on again sometime. But this was great to have you. Before I let you go, chat, do you guys want to ask like 1 or 2 questions, and then we'll call it? But keep it super brief. Because we got to respect Charlie's time. He's got to get out of here. By the way, thank you for all the follows and subs and stuff, guys. Oh, all right. This might be fun. Somebody goes Litecoin price prediction. And again, no crystal balls. Don't hold anyone to anything. But yeah, I mean, Charlie, if you want to just throw a dart at the wall, feel free.
I hate making price predictions because people hold me to it.
Okay. How about anything but Litecoin?
What can I say about Litecoin? I do think that we're gonna go past the previous all-time high. I mean, that's what actually I hope it will.
Right, sure.
I do think it will. I think it's shown a lot of strength recently, right? So Litecoin last year, like in terms of like coin market cap position, it has dropped down to like 10th place, right? It has all these like new coins come out and overtake Litecoin. But Litecoin ended up strong, right? It pulled back to number 5, overtook Bitcoin Cash, and recently overtook XRP for a brief day or two. But then XRP had a pump, and now it's back to number 5. So Litecoin I think it's been pretty strong price wise, and of course against Bitcoin it actually has dropped a bit against Bitcoin. But that happens, right? Bitcoin has its run, and then it Litecoin like slingshots past Bitcoin's run. I expect to see that happen, and it will. When that happens, it will melt faces. That's what people have been saying.
Yeah.
I do think that's going to happen. The previous times, Litecoin every now and then has like a crazy run where it does like 40+% gain in a day, and that's just that might happen again, and that would be ridiculous. But don't count it out. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a very exciting year this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So on this channel, we were watching the breakout of this wedge just because it was so similar to kind of what happened last cycle, because the breakout always coincided with the break of Bitcoin's all-time high. So we were really watching for that, and a lot of people played that. But I like me personally, I sold a lot of my trade bags at about $100, thinking, oh, you know, once again, I'm God's gift to trading. I'm the best. And then here we're up to, you know, we slapped 180 plus. Yeah. So this thing is crazy.
70 right now. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is just following Bitcoin, right?
Right.
So Bitcoin kind of brings everything up when it's doing its thing. But yeah, it's Litecoin. Litecoin has performed pretty well. I'm happy about its performance. But in the end, like what that does, is just gives more awareness, right? It gets people hearing about Litecoin and getting in and just having more adoption. And I'm working on just more adoption, more people using Litecoin, more support by like wallets or even like PayPal, stuff like that, or even like ATMs, right? Litecoin is second to Bitcoin in terms of ATM adoption.
Like I didn't know
90% of all like crypto ATMs support Litecoin. Yeah, so that's good. You can just places where you can get Litecoin, spend Litecoin. It's more of that, and it's just more useful as a currency.
And what's that saying? Like nothing like a good bull run to spark more interest in crypto or to spark more interest in your coin, something like that.
Did you just make that up?
No, that's like I heard some OG said that. I take no credit for that, but I see it on Twitter every now and then. They're like, huh, nothing like a little price. It's in reference to like CNBC or Fox or somebody suddenly talking about Bitcoin, not as though it's only used for drugs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like today, CNBC and other channels, they're definitely talking a lot about Bitcoin recently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's due to like PayPal, due to like Michael Saylor, just a lot of interest. And that helps. That's why like the price is going up, because more people are hearing about it and more people are getting into this space.
Right. Okay, I guess last question, because I thought this was pretty good too. People were asking about wrapped Litecoin. Yes or no?
Actually, there's people are working on it, right? So there's wrapped Litecoin on the Tron network that was announced today. There's already wrapped Litecoin on Ethereum. I think there's we'll see if there's interest though, right? So I'm not working on any wrapped Litecoin product myself. Other people are doing it. What do you think about the reasoning for like why do we need a wrap Litecoin on Ethereum?
I just for the headline, I guess. I mean, I think there's better uses and better ways to go about it, but people seem to be interested in that specifically. But I can't really find a good use case that's better than anything else.
A lot of people are interested because they think something like this will pump the price more than anything. Like they're not fair. Actually, I don't think demand is that high for people wanting to move Litecoin to Ethereum so that they can do some more contracts on it. There's some demand, but I don't think it's not going to move the needle in terms of adoption. So that's why I'm not kind of personally working on it.
Chat's pointing to DeFi, saying DeFi is the use case they have in mind. There's like several people in chat saying that.
Yeah, DeFi is still a niche market. I think I think there's still a lot of things people have to work out, a lot of problems with it. I would give it a few more years before it becomes kind of mainstream. Right now, it's for the nerds and geeks.
Yeah, to me, it's like the new ICO. It's just the next thing. It's just what people are excited about right now.
It's good marketing.
Right. Okay. All right, guys. Charlie, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, very, very much for your time here, guys.
Sure. Yeah.
The Litecoin Foundation, if you would please throw them some donations. They don't have a whole lot of ways to generate income. A lot of the ways that they support their guys and pay for their projects is through your donations. So please look, what's the best way to do that, Charlie? Shill that for everybody here.
Just go to litecoin-foundation.org. There's a way for you to donate to Litecoin Foundation. Basically, our mission is to kind of support the adoption and development of Litecoin and basically all of cryptocurrency. Like whatever we do, we support Bitcoin. When we push for adoption, we make sure that the merchant also accepts Bitcoin. It's not just like Litecoin only. Litecoin's the only thing that matters. So yeah, we run off of donation. We do our best to. We put all the money back.
Oh no, it cut out. It cut out, Charlie. It's that time. The FBI, they're like, no, we will not let him shill Litecoin 501c3. It is not happening. By the way, chat, I don't like that my little guy is facing down. This makes me sad. I left you in charge for 30 minutes and you made price go down.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. No video now. Yeah, they're trying to censor me. It's ridiculous.
Sorry, man.
I was saying that we just any donation is appreciated, and we put all the money back into the ecosystem. Yeah, if you support Litecoin Foundation, we appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay, well, Charlie, I appreciate your time. We'll let you go, and yeah, let's do it again. Okay.
Sure, for sure.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care. See ya.
Yep. Bye.
Okay, Chad, how was that? That was great, huh? How about that? Charlie Lee. I tried my best not to just fangirl out and just be like, oh, Charlie Lee. But I was close. I'm telling you now. No, that was great. It was good to talk to him.